how do you return to offline play? We just talked about it a little bit, how different the environment can be.
Yes.
And I honestly think you have to prepare for it differently. Like, I personally felt like it was so different being in these crowded rooms. You know, you have all these setups lined up side by side. You have to wait for the bracket runner. You have to play on demand. Hey, it's time to go. Get on the setup and sit down next to your opponent and play. It's very different, and I feel like there's a lot of different types of prep that has to go into that versus something like an online tournament, or especially like an online weekly, which, you know, comes up week after week. You just sit down at your setup. You don't got to travel more than 10 feet to play. And if you lose, oh well, you know, go grab a snack and sit on the couch and, you know, think about your life decisions. you don't have to go far to sulk. But if you're at an offline tournament, you might have flown across the country, across the continents to get there.
There's no escape after that. That's one of the worst feelings of all time.
You better
bro.
hope you got your own hotel room so that you can go to your hotel room. Dude, oh man, you know I lost in an offline event if you see me just walking like 50% faster. Perfect posture.
Yeah,
Woo!
you don't want any
straight
type
to
of
the elevator.
Man, and then it sucks when people go ask you what happened, or you know, are you still in, or who beat you, or something like that. Like, bro, stop asking. Can we erase
I need
question?
like 1 hour, like at least 1 good hour of just laying just completely rigid on the bed, just staring at the ceiling, bargaining with myself. Like, what if I did this? What if I did?
I gotta make a phone call, bro. I ain't gonna lie. After that, I lose. I gotta go to the hotel room or somewhere where I can be alone. Call my dad or my girl or something like that and get talked off the ledge. Like, listen, react. Relax. Don't be so hard on yourself. No lie, bro. Every single time.
You do the phone call. Okay.
Yo, yeah, that's my tech. Look, that's free game for y'all. I do the phone call, man. I can't even talk to nobody at that. I can't just talk. You know, there's levels of, like, you know, companionship or whatever. Like, you got your friends, but then, you know, your girl that you live with, or your guy, whatever, or your parents. Like, bro, I'm calling my parent. You know, I'm calling my everyday girl that's in my house with me, literally, because I'm so salty when I lose. Right. But if y'all want to avoid salt when going to these offline situations, at least to some degree, know in advance that it's very different as far as crowds are concerned. Obviously, you're not just in here in your room. So I seen some people complaining or crying about, I don't want to say crying because at that point I'm being biased. Y'all crying to me. About Kaba and Street Fighter League. Why is he yelling so much? I just don't understand. It's supposed to be a golf tournament and you're supposed to clap until... No, bro. That's not how we get down in the FGC. Some people do, right? I'm talking about as far as the overall fighting game tournaments are loud, they're bombastic, high energy. Right. So you got to be ready for it. And that doesn't tell the whole story, right? Because we've all experienced these. If you're like a tournament vet or whatever, up to this point where you've been to so many different tournaments like the two of us have. Sometimes the crowd is just excited to see the match. Sometimes the crowd is specifically the person you're playing, that's their friends.
Right.
That's their people from their local. And they're going to heckle you. Anytime you land he lands a hit against you, then they're gonna wild out and treat it like the biggest thing in the world.
They'll land like one jab from a scramble situation. They'll start popping off. You cannot let that affect you, right? Especially when it's some dumb, like you made a dumb mistake and, like, you know, strategy wise you had the right play, but maybe you fumbled the execution. Like one of those where like, oh, I messed up, and then they didn't really earn it. You know what I mean? It's not like they put you in special position.
Bro, you know what they're gonna say? Oh, he's scared. He's scared. He's nervous.
They latch onto that. They try to eat you up. But that said, come prepared for that, because tournaments have this wonderful thing. Often they have a mix amp, and you have these things called headphones.
Yes.
Bring your headphones to the tournament setup. Not everyone actually uses. Not everyone actually uses those, and it depends on what the tournament provides. So like Texas Showdown, I loved it because they brought, they had the Astro mix amps for everybody. So I just grabbed my earbuds, plugged it in, bam, if I wanted the audio. Some matches I did without audio, but like when I was on the stage, for sure. You know, I played against some Texas people on that stage. I wanted my headphones so I didn't have to hear them popping off when I dropped an oral combo. So, you know, come prepared with the equipment.
Speaking of headphones, do you not have on your no neutrals right now? What in the world is going on here?
No comment.
Oh, I never noticed.
Can I do the episode without hearing Rob?
What is this madness? This is a lack of dedication to the brand, but continue.
Well, that's all I had to say about that. Don't worry, I'll bring the no neutral headsets around for every tournament. I'll wear them 24/7. You know, just for the fashion.
I wear these all day, actually.
Right? To
the
grocery store, you know.
Shower.
Yeah, well, that's not dedication then. So I'll step it up.
Bro, they need to give us some waterproof ones then if they want me to go that far with it.
You got to commit to it. But one other aspect of offline that's very important is to know that there are tournament standards to the setups that you play on, right? This is something that we all, already assumed and understood and committed to for, the regular offline CPT seasons, right? Since the beginning of the Street Fighter V lifespan, you can know the hardware you're playing on. You're playing on a PS4 hardware. You're playing on a 60 hertz monitor. There are certain setups that you would use to be prepared for that environment. So if you're playing offline, you got a completely different setup, you're using different hardware, using different monitors, that can impact how you feel and how your gameplay actually is during the tournament setup. So I feel like a lot of people started experimenting with different things during the online era and trying different setups. But yeah, I think it's a big thing to be prepared for the offline environment. Going into an offline event, what it's going to be played on. Tournament standard has been established for years, for half a decade at this point. So I think that's big. Practicing as much as possible to replicate the environment that you're going to be in offline is definitely huge. So you don't want to show up to a different sort of setup that you're not used to. Make sure if you're prepping for an event, take a week, months, switch right now. Do whatever you got to do to get ready for that environment. I think it's super critical to be prepared for the offline tournament standard.
I agree, and even if you do that, I will always make sure I warmed up, because even if you have the same setup at home, someone else's stuff might feel different. It could be the settings or just the fact that these things could be on all day. There's a million different reasons.
It could be your own adrenaline, your own nerves,
that
right?
Too. So I'm gonna go play. I refuse to. There's no way I'm flying across the country or wherever I'm going, driving, whatever, and playing cold.
Never.
Warm up, play you some casuals before you actually play in the tournament, and that way you can more likely play like yourself. Because if you go in cold, you're gonna play bad.
Right. You're not gonna be used to that environment, and plus, like I mentioned before, your own nerves, your own adrenaline, how you're feeling in that moment will affect your perception of time and everything. Like that's a fact, right? Like your perception of time is definitely skewed based on your own state in that moment. So the more you can warm up before a tournament, definitely the better you'll do. Like that's what I do before top 8, right? That's always difficult too. You play everything on day 1, then day 2 is top 8, and you were so warmed up by the end of top 16 when you qualify for top 8. Don't make that mistake of going in cold in top 8 like that. It's a separate day. Get up early. Street Fighter V was at 2 p.m. for example, which is not early. But if you sleep in a little bit, sleep until 10, go grab some food. Suddenly it's 12:30, and then maybe suddenly you get a coffee or whatever. You know what I mean? Eventually you mess around and you look at your watch or your phone, and suddenly it's 1:45 and you got to go play. So just be responsible, be professional, especially if you get far in a bracket. You're a pro at that point, right? You got to act like it, get there early, warm up, and play your best.
Seriously, that's something I had started doing actually in that last year of our regular offline, was consciously getting up at a certain time where I know I'll have time to get ready exactly how I want to as far as my food is concerned. Like being able to get a breakfast or whatever without it being a rush or anything like that. If you look into sports psychology, probably even just human biology or anything, I'm sure it'll show. Like if you're actually able to get up, get your food, get moving around, then at that point, there's probably even an argument. I don't want to sound like a super meathead, but there's probably even an argument for doing a little jog or something like that. Look at Tokido. Remember, he was on that heavily.
He jogs in place. 100%. Yeah, I try to go for a run, or if I can, at least walk around, maybe do some push-ups in the hotel room. Yeah, you got to get the blood flowing. It's facts. When you eat is huge. I mean, you're going into the deeper sports psychology and kind of ritual thing. When you eat is huge. I feel like that's a big one, because you can't be so hungry that you're distracted from your gameplay, and you can't be so full that you got the itis and you're falling asleep at the setup, right?
Street Fighter League, one of these seasons,
and you can't eat donuts. You can't eat donuts before a tournament match. Yeah, we should have brought that up in the last episode, but one of the most samurai-isms is he caught us all at the setup eating donuts before tournament. They brought catered food, and we're all going into the donuts, and Samurai comes by like, "You guys are eating donuts before tournament?" And we're wiping like the powdered sugar and the jelly off our faces. Like, no, not me.
And he's dead serious too. He had no temptation to get one.
And that's how he stays clutch in that offline environment. It must be the lack of donuts and the increased discipline to do what he must do to win.